The holding pattern continues for a group of Idahoans looking to reverse Idaho's near-total abortion ban. Idahoans United for Women and Families is working towards getting a question on the ballot in 2026, the Reproductive Freedom and Privacy Act, asking Idahoans to directly weigh in on what the law of the land of abortion and reproductive rights should look like in the gem state. And that provision includes a proposal to allow abortions up to fetal viability. And that's commonly recognized in the medical community as about 23 to 24 weeks. Idahoans United thought here in the month of June, their nearly 1,000 volunteers across the state would be out campaigning for thousands of signatures, a goal of about 100,000 to make the ballot. But the Idaho Supreme Court is still thinking over how to deal with claims that the Attorney General used confusing language in crafting the ballot title that would go out to voters. The AG, under Idaho law, is responsible for writing those based on submitted ballot language from the group. And Idahoans United also claims that the fiscal impact statement, the cost of what saying yes to the proposal would mean, they believe it was written in an overblown way that prevents voters from approving the idea. The law says that financial language needs to be clear, concise, and unbiased. And the Supreme Court heard arguments about that from Idahoans United and the AG's office back on April 25th. 48 days later, there is still no ruling, putting the initiative group in a tough spot. A citizen push to change Idaho's abortion laws remains paused.
There's a saying that when the wise fisherman, when you cannot go to sea, you sit on the beach and you mend your nets. And so we've mended a lot of nets.
Melanie Falwell is executive director for Idahoans United for Women and Children. That group had hoped to be out gathering signatures to qualify for the 2026 ballot, but a dispute continues over the state-issued ballot text.
Because they weren't lawful, we sued. And that's unfortunate we had to sue. Had we received a clear, transparent, easy to understand fiscal impact statement from the state, we would have been out gathering signatures for 6 months now.
But the wait continues, one that Falwell says could have been avoided if the state simply followed the law.
If we'd gotten lawful, fair titles and a lawful, fair fiscal impact statement. It's really important that the voters see that this law, if passed, does not cost them anything, that this has no impact on the budgets of the state of Idaho.
In court, the Attorney General's office argued their ballot title wording was fair, and if they were looking to have politically motivated text, they would have used a term like unborn child.
I think it's exactly equivalent. Our position is that fetus viability and fetal viability are essentially the same term, that modifying a noun with another noun is common English.
So if what you just said is correct, then you have no problem if we change the language back to how the statute words it?
Well, we have a problem because the AG hasn't exceeded his jurisdiction. Like, this ballot title fairly acquaints voters with the purpose of the initiative.
Idahoans United argues that the required fiscal impact statement is misleading and biased. They say it wrongly implies that the initiative would cost the state major money, even referencing implications with $850 million in Medicaid spending. A new Idaho law requires that economic statement,
which is kind of new, uncharted territory. That's a more recently passed law. So I think the court is doing their due diligence, their process. And it's unfortunate that we had to sue it all.
The waiting game continues, eating valuable time for the campaign to get signatures.
So we won't get that time back. We're losing critical time, particularly in beautiful June. May would have been great to gather signatures. But again, because we did not have our final titles and fiscal impact statement, we were not able to circulate.
And another wrinkle for Idahoans United for Women and Families is that they have to stand by for printing out all of their signature pages that their volunteers will use, because the ballot title needs to appear on each signature page. So until they get that, they can't even really start the paperwork. They have until April of next year to get about 70,000 valid signatures, and to make sure they hit that threshold, they have a goal of getting 100,000.